I'm Linda. In this video, we're going to explore the air element. This is one in a series of 5 videos that I've made, each of which explores one of the 5 essential elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So today, we'll be exploring and connecting with the air element. So as always with each of these element yoga flows, I'll offer you a mudra, which is a gesture that helps to channel the energy in a particular way. So the mudra that's associated with the air element is the Vayu mudra. The index finger is folded down and the thumb is crossed against the front of the index finger. So taking that with both hands, then resting the hands on your lap, either with the palms down or the palms up, whatever feels appropriate for you. And in fact, you can experiment with the way you place your hands and notice how that channels the energy perhaps in a different way. So just taking a moment, if you're comfortable closing your eyes, feel free to do that as you feel the effect of this mudra that channels the air element. In this practice, as we connect with the air element, we'll really explore the fullness of breath. The breath is the prana, the energy that gives us life. Without breath, there is no life. And also, as we explore the breath and the air element in this way, it helps us to connect with that notion, that awareness that we're all connected through the air that we breathe. Each one of us is connected. And I'll offer you an affirmation with the air element, with this mudra. With greater lightness of being, I open my heart to embrace life completely. With greater lightness of being, I open my heart to embrace life completely. You're welcome to repeat that to yourself 3 more times, and just noticing how that affirmation, how this gesture is channeling your air element. With greater lightness of being, I open my heart to embrace life completely. And you're welcome to release the gesture, and just taking a moment to notice what may have shifted since we began. So coming to the back edge of your mat, kneeling on your shins. If this is not easy on your knees, we won't be here for long. So beginning with an inhale, coming up high on the knees, a little bit of back bend, palms come together overhead. Exhale into child pose just for 1 breath. Inhaling up into a cow tilt, and exhale as you press the floor away, sliding the chin in toward the chest. We'll take that 2 more times, inhaling into a little bit of a back bend, head and tailbone come up. Exhale, coiling the chin into the chest. 1 final time, coming into your cow tilt, really expanding in the heart center. Exhaling out so you expand in the back of the heart center. And settling the hips down onto the heels, returning to child pose just for 1 breath. And on an inhale, coming up high on the knees, palms come together, a little bit of a back bend. And as you exhale, drawing the palms right down the center line, returning to the start. So we'll repeat that basic pattern and add on. Inhaling into the back bend. Exhaling into child pose just for 1 breath. Inhaling up into your cow tilt, and exhale and coil. Coming back to center, taking the gaze over the right shoulder, bringing your hip towards your gaze as we open up in the left side of the body, opening up the spaces between the ribs on the left side, creating space for the breath. And on an inhale, coming through center, exhaling right on over to the opposite side. So taking the gaze over the left shoulder as we open up the ribs on the right side, creating more space for the breath. So inhaling through center, exhaling over the right shoulder. Inhaling through center, exhaling left. Coming back to center, settling the hips onto the heels into child pose just for one breath. And inhaling up into your back bend. Exhaling as you draw the palms down the center line, returning to the start. So we'll repeat that basic pattern and add on. Inhaling into your back bend, maybe deepening the back bend a little. Exhaling into child pose, expanding the back of the heart space with each inhale. Inhaling up into your cow tilt, expanding the front of the heart space. And exhale as you slide the tailbone down. Coming back to center, threading the left hand underneath the right arm, coming into a twist. So resting the outer edge of your left shoulder and the side of your head on the mat. And here, if you like, you can take the right arm toward the ceiling, or even folding the arm down behind your back, noticing how this changes the experience of the twist. And as you feel ready, pressing the right hand into the mat to unwind you from the twist, and taking the twist to the opposite side, threading the right arm underneath the left, resting the right shoulder on the mat. And then, if you like, extending the left arm to the ceiling and folding the elbow, resting the forearm behind the back, opening up in the rib cage even more to expand the space for the breath. And bringing that left hand back down onto the mat to unwind you from the twist, settling the hips down onto the heels as you come back into child pose for one breath. And inhaling up into your back bend, exhaling, returning to the start, and then wrapping the arms around you, giving yourself a great big bear hug. And releasing the bear hug, sliding forward onto your tummy. And we'll come into locust. We'll take it in stages. So lowering the chest down onto the mat, the hands are alongside your body, and stretching the toes to the back of the room. And really using that leverage of the tops of your feet and your thighs pressing into the mat as you inhale, taking the head and shoulders off the mat. Exhale and release. This time we'll add the arms, inhaling head and shoulders and arms off the mat. Exhale and release. Taking the legs this time, inhaling the head, the shoulders, arms, and legs. We'll pause here for 2 breaths. And exhale and release. We'll take one final variation, if you like, inhaling head and shoulders, arms and legs, and taking the arms forward, widening out the arms, widening out the legs, and we'll pause here for 2 breaths. And lowering the whole body down onto the mat, turning your head over to one side, and we'll pause before we move on. It's allowing the prana to circulate throughout your body. Bringing the chin back to center, hands are underneath your shoulders, a little bit lower than the shoulders, alongside your ribs, engaging the low body again, so the tops of the feet and the thighs are pressing into the mat. And then curling the torso off the mat, coming into a cobra. So you can keep it as a low cobra with the elbows bent, or if you like, raising the torso a little bit higher, keeping the shoulders sliding away from the ears and taking the gaze toward the ceiling, really opening in the front of the heart space. Taking one more breath here. And then pressing yourself right back into child pose. When child pose, taking 2 nice, long, slow, deep cycles of breath. You're welcome to make a pillow with your folded hands to rest the forehead on. And noticing how the back of the body, the back of the heart space expands on the inhale. And as you feel ready, extending the fingertips to the front of the mat, coming right through table, curling the toes under, coming into downward dog. So taking the tailbone to the back wall, as you open up from the fingertips all through the back line of the body. And then looking at that space between your hands, bringing the right foot forward into that space, lowering the left knee down onto the mat on the way. When you feel ready, bringing both hands onto the front knee. And then again, when you feel ready, rooting down to rise up. Bringing the arms overhead and adding on a back bend, really creating the opportunity for space in the front of the body, space for the breath. And taking one more breath here. And then lowering the hands down onto the mat, bending the left knee and reaching around for the left foot with your right hand. Coming into a back bend, adding a little bit of a twist so you can really take the heart, shining the heart toward the ceiling. We'll pause here for 2 breaths. And releasing the foot, both hands frame that right foot as you shift the weight back, straightening the right leg, bowing over the right leg, a little counter stretch for the right leg, and we'll pause here for 2 breaths. You can keep the back a little flat if you like, or allow a curve to come into the spine. And then bringing the knees together, curling the toes under, shifting right back into downward dog. We'll pause here for 2 breaths before we take that to the opposite side. Just noticing what's beginning to shift in your body and looking at that space between your hands, bringing the left foot forward into that space, lowering the right knee down onto the mat. Both hands come to that left knee. And then using that downward energy to create an upward lift, rooting down to rise up and adding on a back bend. Just opening up the front of the body. And taking one more breath here. And then framing the front foot with both hands as you bend the right knee, reaching around for the right foot with the left hand, and adding on a little bit of a twist, a little bit of a back bend as you shine the heart toward the ceiling. And as you feel ready, releasing the foot and shifting the weight back as you straighten out the left leg, bowing over the left leg. So again, you're welcome to keep the back a little flat if you like, or allowing a curve to come into the spine. And bringing both knees together. Once again, curling the toes under, shifting back into downward dog. We'll pause here for 2 breaths. And then walking your feet toward your hands, coming into a forward fold. So here in your forward fold, the hands can be resting on your shins or your feet or holding on to opposite elbows, which is a nice way of creating space in the spine. Maybe you'd like to sway a little from side to side. And then as you feel ready, rolling your way to standing, head comes up last. And just taking a moment to notice what feels different now that we're standing. circulating the prana throughout your body. On an inhale, raising the arms overhead, reaching the fingertips for the ceiling with your inhale. On your exhale, arcing over to one side. And we'll pause here, doing your best to keep the weight equal on both feet. Noticing how the experience of breathing could feel a little different in this position. And inhaling through center, reaching for the ceiling with the inhale. Exhaling as you arc over to the opposite side. Taking the gaze toward the ceiling. Weight is even on both feet. Opening up in the side body again. Really creating space between the ribs. And inhaling your way back to center. Exhaling as you allow the arms to float back down alongside your body. Taking a moment to allow your body to receive that series of movements. Allow the prana, the energy, to circulate throughout your body. And then taking the legs a little wider, the toes are angled out just a bit. And clasping the hands behind your back, inhaling into a back bend, nice big stretch across the chest. And exhaling as you come into a forward fold, letting the hands extend toward the floor overhead. So we're creating space in the shoulders here, creating more space in the upper body. We'll take 3 cycles of breath here, lifting the arches off the ground to support the legs strong, supporting the posture for 2 more cycles of breath. And then releasing the hands, bringing the hands together so the thumbs are touching beneath your forehead. On an inhale, sweeping the right fingertips up toward the ceiling, coming into a twist. We'll pause here for 2 breaths. Again, lifting the arches, supporting the posture with strong legs. On an exhale, brushing the mat with your fingertips, inhaling into the twist. We'll take that 2 more times, exhaling as you brush the mat with the fingertips, inhaling into the twist. And 1 final time. And pausing in your twist for 1 more breath. And lowering the right hand down to meet the left, recreating your forward fold for 1 breath. And then taking the twist to the opposite side, inhaling the left fingertips to the ceiling, and we'll pause here exploring the twist on this side. You might notice how it could feel different on this side than it did on the other side. So feel free to adjust and adapt in any way that supports you. And on an exhale, brushing the mat with the fingertips, inhaling into your twist. Exhaling as you brush the mat with the fingertips, inhaling into your twist. And taking that 1 more time. Inhaling into your twist just for 1 breath. And bringing the thumbs together, coming back into your forward fold. And then bringing the hands to the hips, a little flex in your knees as you roll your way to standing. Head comes up last. And walking the feet together, returning to your standing mountain, allowing the energy, the prana, to circulate throughout your body from that series of movements. And on an inhale, sweeping the arms overhead, coming into a back bend. And on your exhale, coming into your forward fold. Stepping both feet back into downward dog. And then lowering the knees down onto the mat, coming into a high kneeling position. And left hand to the belly, right hand to the sacrum, and leaning the weight back a little bit. So we're going to continue to create this engagement as we come into our camel pose. So this engagement of the low body, curling your toes under, and shifting the weight back as you windmill the right arm around, Resting the right fingertips on your heel. Left arm comes to the ceiling. And then if you like, windmilling the left arm around, taking the left fingertips to the left heel as you press the heart center toward the ceiling. If you're comfortable letting the head hang back, feel free to do that. Or keeping the chin tucked into your chest, as though you were under a giant waterfall, letting the heart shine toward the ceiling. For one more breath here. And then left hand to the belly, right hand to the sacrum, uncurling the toes and settling the hips down onto the heels, coming into a child pose, letting the hands rest alongside your body. And we'll pause here for 2 breaths. Just allowing the hands to loosely clasp your feet and noticing how that allows you to expand across the back body. On your next inhale, rolling up onto your crown, we'll pause here just for 1 breath. And rolling back down onto the forehead. And very slowly coming back into an upright position. Head comes up last. And as you feel ready, extending the legs out in front, coming into a staff pose here. Great big inhale as you reach for the ceiling, and exhale as you bow over the extended legs, letting a gentle curve come into the spine, expanding in the back of the heart space as we pause here for 1 more breath. And then slowly, with your chin tucked into your chest, rolling your way right back down onto your back. And allowing the whole body to soften downward into the support beneath you. And when you feel ready, bringing the knees into your chest, giving the knees a gentle squeeze. And then taking the arms out in cactus arms or goddess arms, so the elbows are bent. And letting the bent knees fall over to the right, coming into a twist. We'll pause here for 2 breaths. Just allowing the whole body to soften downward, releasing any engagement of the muscles in the back and arms, the hips, the knees and feet for 1 more breath. And moving at your own pace, bringing the knees back to center, bringing the knees into your chest and allowing the bent knees to fall over to the left. And noticing how this movement is different with the arms extended in this way. The opening in the front of the body may feel different. Just noticing the difference for you as you allow the whole body to soften for 2 more breaths. And bringing the knees back to center. 1 final squeeze, opening up in the back of the low back. And extending the legs 1 at a time down to the end of your mat. Letting the legs fall gently open as we integrate that series of movements in this yoga flow where we've connected with the air element. As you allow the whole body to soften, just feel what shift has happened inside. Feel the openness created in your heart. And listen inside for any dedication that you want to take into your life. Have a brilliant day.